What's up, fellas? Welcome to M2M Coverage. Today we have episode 3 of featuring student athletes. We are joined by defensive back Chase Love. He is at the University of Notre Dame. Hey, Chase, how's it going?
Not bad, not bad. How you doing yourself?
I'm good. I'm good. Great to have you on the show. You are a walk-on, right?
Yep.
And what positions do you play?
Specifically safety, but they kind of move us around from safety and corner, so got to really be able to play both.
Yeah, so I just love the fact that you're a walk-on, and I think that makes for a great story. Can you tell us a little bit more about the process of how you became a walk-on at the University of Notre Dame, such a great school for playing football?
hmm So my experience kind of started really in high school. So in high school, I kind of got like offer like Division II offers, but when I got like a scholarship to Notre Dame and really didn't have to worry about anything financially, I thought it would be the right move to make. And so then when I'm coming to Notre Dame, I think most walk-ons and scholarship athletes usually start in the summer before freshman actually, attend school in the August. But I kind of had second thoughts about it and kind of just wanted to focus on, my career path and things like that, something in sports business. That's kind of like the realm that I wanted to go in. And then Notre Dame has this thing called inter-hall football where like dorms compete against each other, and they have like literally like impads like physical football, and where at the end you compete in the actual Notre Dame stadium. And so after playing that, some of my teammates in my dorm kind of saw like the way I played and thought I should walk on for the team. And so I think it was in March of the spring I walked on. It was interesting. It was like it's about like 30 guys there. It was really like a 30-minute like kind of like workout where we did like different stations just so they could see how you move. A part of that was like they would look at your high school film as well, which I had. And so with a combination of those two things, they kind of offered me a spot. And then through the spring is when they were actually able to see you with the full team and the way you moved and, the way you played. Because, I mean, even though you kind of passed like the physical, athletic things like competition stuff that we have, they want to make sure you could actually make it through it and not just get thrown around by the other huge bodies on the team and stuff like that. So, once I kind of like finalized my spot in the spring, and then from then on, it's just been kind of working and the usual college football stuff, I guess you could say, which I can go into more detail, but that's like the start of it. How I got
Yeah,
into
I think that's a great insight. 30 people, right? So how many did they take out of those 30 people?
It was me and one of my friends. He's a special team. He plays a special team, so 2 out of 30. They
So
don't.
two out of 30, that's crazy.
Yeah, they usually don't.
Congratulations.
Yeah, I appreciate that. They usually don't take a lot of people. I know we had another round this last spring, and they didn't take anyone. So it's really a combination of where they need people, how many spots they can take, and how well they think you can play.
And what do you think you would say was your like best thing that helped you get onto the team, like your best attribute as a football player, as a defensive back?
Definitely my attention to detail. Being out of the game for even a semester, a summer and a semester, really kind of like put me back a step in terms of the other players that were already on the team. So really, there was a lot of like outside work, and kind of like coming into college football, there's like a lot of understanding that you have to do of certain plays and schemes and things like that. It's just a whole different thing because the game's a lot faster. So really just attention to detail and more so work outside of practice and meetings and stuff like that was where, it was really easy for me being at Notre Dame, learning how to like study and take notes and stuff like that. So kind of just applied that to football, and that was really the best attribute for me.
Yeah, we love to hear that. We love to hear that combination of using your academic skills in the area of sports. With that said, I'm gonna pass the questionnaire on to Geoffrey so he can ask you something.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so like you said, it's amazing what you've been able to do so far as a walk-on. It's really hard to, make it to a good football team. So I would like to ask you this. So what are your goals? What do you plan to accomplish by the end of your college football career?
I think really coming in as a walk-on, the biggest thing is just trying to get as much playing time and trying to work your way up through like special teams and then to defensive back. Really, for any college football athlete, special teams is usually the best place to go, just because you have a lot of people in front of you from transfers and fifth years all the way down to seniors, juniors, sophomores that are ahead of you. So really the best place to really make a statement is to start with special teams and kind of grow through there, which I think in high school usually people don't like, but in the pros and for college football, it's really big. It can really help a lot for like making your case and showing the coaches what you can do. So really, yeah, kind of just trying to help the team as much as possible. Like I said, I'm trying to still really gain gain some time on the field. Because for walk-ons, it's kind of like it's just like a different things that you have to go through necessarily, because while for other players, coaches might have like recruited them. Usually for walk-ons, it's not really the same. Sometimes they recruit you. They kind of wanted you on the team, but they didn't recruit just like other players. So you really have to fight more so for your playing time.
Yeah. And it's like to echo what Suraj and Geoffrey Aji said, that your story is really great, and being 2 out of 30, that's just phenomenal. But now just talking in a more broader term with college football. So Notre Dame is an independent, but they're going to be playing within the ACC. And with the Power 5, the Big Ten and Pac-12, there were rumblings just a few days ago that both of those conferences might cancel their seasons. Whereas the SEC has stood firm on that they're going to stick with an in-conference schedule, and they're going to push back their season to September 26th. But now the ACC has not really been firm on any stance. They have continued practices, and actually their presidents and chancellors are meeting tomorrow. And I know some huge figures in college football within the ACC, such as quarterback Trevor Lawrence from Clemson, was saying that we want to play as players. So do you have a certain stance on whether college football should continue, or do you think that what the presidents and chancellors are doing right now really have the best interest of players for the long term?
Yeah, I think it's really 50-50 for me. I mean, really ever since the summer has started, there's been conversations throughout our team about what's going to happen. Are things going to get better nationwide or globally? But I know for me personally, when I kind of think about it, thinking about my health and like my past experiences where, when I've gotten sick, it's usually like really bad. I would be in the hospital, or I would be in my house for like kind of like a couple weeks and stuff like that. So it's usually bad for my personal health when thinking about it. And I'm also thinking about since school has started, like the added pressure that it adds on. So like for the summer, it was really just us training and following different precautions and stuff like that, which we've done pretty fine with. Having several testings where there's been like 0 cases. So really just that added on pressure kind of makes it a little bit more difficult. But I think in general, there's like guys on our team who are like kind of like I said, like fifth years and transfers, and guys who really like this is like the last year before they want to actually go into the NFL. And so when you think about that, it's really no second guessing. You kind of want to do what you need to do for the team, and help support other people's aspirations and stuff like that. So it's kind of 50-50, just because when I think about my own health and my own physical and mental health, and making sure that I can actually get through the semester and the season fine. But when you think about the team, it's really an easy answer that I want to play, which is which you'll see from most of the Notre Dame football players also.
Yeah, and I think your concerns for health are definitely warranted. I know that some team doctors and conference doctors came out and said really the concern was about long-term impacts on your cardiac health. And so they were waiting on having cardiac testing as well as coronavirus testing. But, if college football were to be canceled or postponed,
you mentioned earlier that it was difficult for you because you've been away from the game for a bit. How different do you think everyone will be? Like even your star players, just taking all that time away from football.
I think taking away from actual competition against other teams will have some type of impact, but it'll still continue. I'm pretty sure at every university, kind of the same way, kind of similar to how spring football is, where there's practices and there won't be a game, but there'll be certain practices and actually getting the younger athletes prepared to play and stuff like that. So I'm pretty sure like every school will have their own set thing for their players to still gain experience in some way, because there definitely won't be like a time of where nothing's happening, because of college football there's always something happening. We really don't get any time off, it seems like. But yeah, so I think it will continue in some way, in some form. It won't be competition against other teams, but it'll definitely be competition within each team, I should say.
Yeah, and you mentioned the pandemic and like, I guess, return to college football. I just wanted to mention this because I didn't point it out earlier. You're coming to us from your dorm in Notre Dame, right?
Oh, my house in Notre Dame.
Oh,
yeah, I'm living off campus. Yeah, I'm living off campus because of obviously probably be safer than being on campus. So.
Yeah, and so that's another thing to mention, that the fact that you're back in school and your semester has started, right? How is that going for you?
So far it's definitely different. I think for most students, they kind of made it different where usually there'll be like 2-3 classes where they'll be online and then some in person. So I know personally I have 5 classes, 3 in person and then 2 online classes. Yesterday and today there's a mix of them both. So the way it's set up, it's definitely something that I'll have to get used to. In terms of I don't know how it would be, trying to reach out, because usually for help the best way to reach out is like through your other students, like in your class and stuff like that. But obviously it's not, you can't just say, hey, let's go to the library or let's go here, let's go there, because of precautions and stuff like that. So really trying to find a better way to study will be trouble. Classes, but in general it's just similar to any other thing. You just really got to plan, make a strategy and plan to really make the most of it. So it's not going bad so far. I think it's going well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I'm excited to hear about what it's like being on campus right now, because I mean, I'm going to be remote this semester, and a lot of other people are going to be remote. But just for the people who haven't gone back yet and are trying to think about what life is going to be like, that's a good insight that you gave us. I'm going to wrap up this interview, but if you want to shout out anybody special, any family, friends, whatever, feel free to do that right now.
Shout out to the whole WAPU nation across the world. I mean, it's we all have the similar experiences, similar mindset that we want to exceed not only on the field but off the field in our different career paths and stuff like that. Definitely shout out to my family and my girlfriend. I know she'll kill me if I don't. So, but that's about it. Appreciate you guys.
Yeah. So thank you for joining us. This is M2M Coverage. We are joined by Chase Love. We're signing off.